So someone asked, how will it actually work with your movies with the teachings of Blue Matrix in them? Basically, the way the movies work is they are completely self-contained stories, unless there is a sequel, and they are completely from beginning to the end, complete in every way. So it's not like there's something really missing. So you will love them, and what you will find is that as you watch the different films that I've written, there is a sprinkle of Blue Matrix energetics theory in the films, as I've mentioned before, that usually is in the dialogue of the character or depicted in some of the action sequences with special effects, and also later in the dialogue of the characters. So it is likely that people will want to collect all of the ones that I've written over time that have at least the energy sciences in it, uh, that they find that they love. They like, and it's supposed to be fun because then you uncover different pictures that have different pieces of things that are depicted or discussed in a very, very entertaining, engaging, fictitious film, which in itself is complete. So you don't need to collect them, but some people might. And it's what I found is that almost every single movie I've written has, well, it's written by someone who is energy sciences. So we see the world differently. And you will see that when you see the movies, what that is like. And the one thing that people remark on is that the dialogue is astounding in its revelation about certain things, about how somebody whose mind is awake and open really sees the world in comparison to someone who hasn't gone through that yet. So people go like this, and very, very entertaining. So they're very, very well written. They are unique in terms of the offering, has not been done before by anyone. They are not really spiritual cinema, except for maybe a few that have blue matrix in them. There are a few that have blue matrix energetics in them. The blue butterfly effect, the lantern, and the petite soleil. There's a few, a handful that have blue matrix actually mentioned in the films, which is kind of nice for blue matrix energetics practitioners all over the world who love it very, very much. Uh, and we have many who follow the videos and the blog. Um, So, as you know, I was delayed teaching because of the extraterrestrial suppression of my work. And people actually, even some of the people who are studying were suppressed and harassed, believe it or not. I mean, I was hearing all kinds of stories that they would just sit there as good employees and get fired and thrown out with people saying, I don't want you to run society. And they're sitting there saying, I'm not running society. I'm just sitting here doing my job. And in fact, we don't. We're one of the most easygoing groups of people that sit, really do their work. And if ETs up top us and they like some of the ideas that we have, sometimes they've implemented some of those ideas, but we are not groups of people sitting typing instructions to others in the brain on what to do. I actually protested that because I wanted the people who study Blue Matrix brains to be safe and for them to be sovereign. So we refused, actually. So it was really quite ironic that some of these people were persecuted and were misunderstood or removed because they thought that they were the ones doing it. They're not. They've tried to do it to us. So it's been really, really quite the wars in the skies. And it's important to mention that as well. Mostly, but then that person went and apparently got a very fabulous job. And he's very, very happy, even happier than the other person they work for is studying and awakening. So we find each other, I guess. And if there's paranoia going around, what can you do? It's a very hectic time that we live in. So the work will go ahead. You can't, any time in history where we've had any kind of suppression of information, there's huge backlash of it, revolutions even that happen, where people are just infuriated and then it goes ahead because you can't suppress progress. And I hate to say it, but it's really kind of what's happened to Blue Matrix Energetics in a shocking way, where people have been suppressed in some circles. And, for me, they tried to put me out of business for 11 years, jealous that I had this information because the Andromeda said this is the most advanced teachings on the planet. It's one of the most gifted teachers. Should definitely look at her work. And other people said, no, we were longer first here. We have a right. It's not fair. She's an ascended master. She has abilities beyond us will take over everything. And I'm like, I don't want to take over anything. I'm just sitting, writing, and want to teach. I'm not the one typing in people's brains trying to take over the planet, you know? So these other people, they were just seeing things from a place of paranoia and really, really injured and disappointed a lot of people who like where we come from, you know? So we have a code of ethics that we abide by to respect the sovereignty of individuals and not to get in the way of their awakening observer who is sovereign in its awakening, uh, you know, which is what I was taught a long, long time ago. Uh, well, I knew it from inside myself a long, long time ago. And, you know, if someone takes teachings of somebody and skews them and turns it into something else, for us, it becomes a bit of a conflict, which is what happened in Wars in the Skies information reports about that. So I hope that gives you a better perspective on Blue Matrix and the movies, how they will work, and where we're coming from. It's a very powerful society. People are afraid of us in a way because we are very bright. Our IQ shoots up. We are very bright. You can put anything in front of us and we can do it. And so people who are lazier and are used to having control are very threatened by that because they haven't really applied themselves enough in the world, or they've done it by abusing power. And those are the ones that we were having the most trouble with. So I hope that it ends soon and that we win sovereignty for all of mankind to have their freedom of expression and their gifts to the world and contributions without persecution and slander and misunderstanding of peaceful people who are doing remarkable things in the workplace to make your society better. All right, you guys, you have a great day.